Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammi. My guest, Stacie Walker, is here, and I am super excited that she is here. So she's going to tell you a little bit about who she is and what she does. So Stacie, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tammi. I am so honored to be on the show, and I'm so happy to see you and reconnect with you. So my name is Stacie Walker. I'm an entrepreneur. I help people, mainly coaches, consultants, healers, really get energetically aligned with how they sell, how they show up, how they share their message so they can expand their business to 6 figures and beyond. So I have a business. It's called Unleash Your Ambition. I have a podcast by the same name, but Unleash Your Ambition podcast. And I'm all about you building your business around your life and not the other way around, just because I've been on these entrepreneurial streets for some time. And, about halfway in through my journey, I was hustle, even though I hit my goals, but it came with a big price. I didn't recognize my body. My mind wasn't healthy, mind, body, spirit, all out of whack. And I ended up taking 2 years off from my business. And when I finally came back, I made a declaration to myself and anyone else that I work with that you build your business around your life, not the other way around, and that you can have your cake and eat it too. And you do things that are aligned with you, because there's so many ways to market your business. There's so many different ways to be able to show up and generate leads and sell. So I created a framework to where anybody can customize it inside. It's just, you're basically using a blueprint, but you can customize. It's kind of like you have the, I guess, the shell of a house or something like that, and you can customize it you want on the inside, but all the foundations there for you, just to make sure that the house doesn't collapse or sink or anything like that. So basically that's what my framework helps my entrepreneurs with, is so they can do things that are in alignment with their mission, their vision, and personality, because that's most likely going to help them achieve their goals faster than trying to fit somebody into a mold or doing things that just really aren't naturally aligned to them. And I love what I do, and the people that I've connected with over the years, absolutely amazing. It's just an honor to be able to do it.
Yes, I am so gracious and honored that you are here. And the thing is Stacie and I connected a few years ago,
Yeah.
and she doesn't know this, but I consider her my first coach because she was so amazing. She inspired me so much. And just watching her journey has been so fulfilling to me, and just seeing the opportunities that are presented to her, it's like, just joyful, because, out in these internet streets, a lot of times people have so much competition and so much comparisonitis, and it's not popular for people to say that you build your business around your life. So many people are out here preaching and coaching people to get out here and hustle and, pitch people they don't know and all this kind of craziness. And so, and so many people are doing it. So, somebody's coaching them to do it, because right? Too many people that are doing it. Jump in there as soon as they request you, then they're in your inbox, asking you stupid questions, and you already know what's coming, and it's like, no, that's not the way to do. You got to talk to people and create relationships.
Yeah.
And so I just love the way Stacie puts that out there, where, you are building a business around your life, because, honestly, you get out there and you do that hustle, and then you do like she did, you burn out.
Yep.
And you just shut down and you just can't go further. So, yeah. So talk to us about, how this came about for you and how you actually started your entrepreneurial journey.
Ooh, that's a great, how I actually started. That's a great
journey.
Yeah, that is a great question. So I started my journey. My journey started back in 2008. And here's the thing, I never, ever thought it was even an option for me to be an entrepreneur, because I was raised in a family to get an education, get the career, stay in that career until you retire and then die, you know. So that's all that I was seeing. That's all that I observed. That's all that I heard around my peers. I mean, school teaches us this. And so I never grew up with any entrepreneurs or anything. It just didn't seem like it was like an option for me. I didn't feel like I had a choice in the matter. So all the way from 16, I don't know what year that was, maybe 95, no, gosh, 93, 92. I don't know anymore. But from the moment I was 16 up until, gosh, early 20s, I was doing a lot of job hopping, and I was great at what I did. I was great no matter what I did, whether I worked at a restaurant or waitress. I worked for the UTL Science Center in San Antonio. I had like, you know, dumb jobs, and then I had like better job, like corporate jobs, but like no matter what I did, I was good at it. However, there was always something missing. And like for the longest time, I thought there was something wrong with me, because either I would quit the job or I would get fired, because, you know, I just really started slacking off. And finally, in 2000 and about 2003, 4, somewhere around that time, I finally had the cushy job that you're supposed to retire at. And it was fun for the first couple of years, but I tell you, I was getting that feeling again. I was like, oh, great, here we go again, you know, and then I would like guilt myself. I'd be like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I be like these other people and just, you know, be happy with what I got and be happy with this job and this and that? Like, I literally
just
thought
work.
Huh? Yeah. And
No,
I
said you want to be like these other,
I was like, why can't I be like them? Because I was like, what's wrong
and just
with
be a
me?
cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So finally, about 2007, I ended up getting really, really sick. So sick to the point to where I would have died if I wouldn't have gone to the emergency room when I chose to do so. So what ended up happening was, I'm just going to fast forward to like me in the hospital. So basically, I found out that I have a small liver. Never knew this my entire life until, you know, I was in the emergency room. And, you know, our livers, they get rid of toxins from what we breathe, eat, touch, all of that. So my body was not getting rid of the toxins. So what was happening is that the toxins were staying in my body, which meant that my whole body was becoming septic. And I was seeing the symptoms, and I'm not going to tell y'all what the symptoms were, but just know that I was sick, and I was walking around this for at least a good couple of weeks. I was still going to work. I was taking care of my oldest son at the time. You know, I was still doing things and functioning. And when I finally got to the emergency room was when I literally felt like I was dying. Like I had never felt that way before. The doctor said, if you would have waited a little bit longer, you would be dead. He said, why did you take so long to get here? He said, your enzyme levels are skyrocket. I don't even know how you function for this long. And I was shocked because I just did not realize it. So, you know, of course I was not eating great at that time. My lifestyle was kind of a mess around that time. So I do understand why that would have happened. But my doctor said that I need to get my body right again. And he said that you need to change your lifestyle. And also that you need to go on bed rest until I get better. I was thinking I was only going to be on bed rest for maybe 30 days, Tammy. 30 days. I was like, okay, I can do this. Blah. Well, I was on bed rest for almost a year, which meant that my first husband at the time, he was working 2 jobs.
My goodness.
Yeah, I know. Almost a year. He was working 2 jobs. I was the breadwinner, like before I got sick. So even with his 2 jobs, it was hard for him to maintain all of the responsibilities. So we got into a financial situation where I drained all of my savings. I even went through my teacher's retirement account. I borrowed money from my parents. Then they really didn't have much money to spare. So things were like getting really bad financially. And I was like, okay, I need to do something. I knew what I couldn't do. I couldn't go back to my job because I'm on medical leave. Like I needed to continue to heal. So what I did, I started looking online, and keep in mind, this is 2008, totally different. Online was totally different back in 2008, even though it really wasn't that long ago. So I was looking for online jobs because I had heard from one of my coworkers that one of her friends or relatives had a work at home job. Well, I was looking for work at home jobs, and I kept on coming across network marketing, business opportunities, and I would just skip over those because remember, I never knew about those things before. I never knew that was a possibility or anything. So I found an advertisement and I thought it was for a work at home job. Well, I had the meeting with the lady. She ended up being my first mentor. Had a meeting with her, told her my whole situation. And then she said, well, this is not a job. It's actually an opportunity, network marketing opportunity where you can sell healthcare benefits. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. And she was like, well, based off of what you said, you really don't have anything to lose. And I was like, dang, I can't even argue with that. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead and give this a try. Because I really wasn't committed. It wasn't what I want to do, but I was also at a moment of desperation. So what I ended up doing, I
Right.
actually built the business on bed rest in my bed from the ground up in less than 6 months. And this was like an anomalous thing to do because back in 2008, if you were in network marketing or any type of MLM, the only way that you could really get people on your team or to sell your product, whatever it is to actually go out and meet people. But what, from me having so much time on my hand, I was able to
Yes.
like do a ton of research, like on how to market a business. And I was trying to figure out like, how can I do this at home? So I came across these guys. It used to be called, I don't know if it's this anymore, but it was like magnetic sponsoring. And it's a way to where you can actually generate leads for your network marketing company. And even if the people don't buy your product or even become a on your team, there's still a way for you to make money even if they don't work with you, is to provide information products. So from being on bed rest and working the business from my bed, I was able to like gather up a bunch of notes, and I still do this today. I document everything that I do. I document what works and don't work. So I was able to package up a training that would help any network marketer, no, doesn't matter what type of business they had, to be able to generate leads online and not have to go to dumb meetings and do networking, especially for an introvert like me. There's no way I was going to do that. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to find a way around this. And I found it, but the only way I found it is
Right.
I was like, I'm not doing that. And so I started teaching people from different network marketing companies how to market their business online. And I was just basically showing them what I was doing. It wasn't like I was showing them anything that I didn't know, because what I don't know, I don't know. So I ended up discovering that I like teaching people the marketing and not so much the company that I was working with. So I parted ways with the network marketing company and started my first business, Women in Leadership. And that's basically where my journey began. Now, from then to now, there's been a few iterations of my journey, but I think the common thing is that I love teaching.
Yes.
I'm fascinated with marketing. I'm fascinated with like why people buy, like what's going on in their brains to make them decide what's valuable to them, what's not. And most of all, I've always been a teacher. Like I shared that, I remember when I was a little girl, I would always line up my stuffed
Or the
animals.
psychologist
Yeah. Huh?
teacher. As a,
I would line up
you
all
would
of
line up your stuffed animals
Yep,
and teach them.
line up all and teach them. Yep, I have a little chalkboard and teach them. So I've always liked teaching from the get-go. So that's what I've basically been doing like all of these years. And I only do things that I want to do, right? Because I know there's some people that will do things because they think they got to do them. And it's like,
Yes.
no,
Say that again.
I only do things that I genuinely want to do, not the things that people say I got to do. And because otherwise, why are you going to build something that you really don't like? Like, you might as well should just work in a regular 9 to 5 that you're not passionate about. I know some people love their 9 to 5, but a lot of people don't. So I'm speaking mainly to the people that don't love their 9 to 5, but they want to build something that's going to bring in money, give them the flexibility. Yep. So it's like, if you're going to build something, make sure that it's something that you like. Now, you might not be in love with it every day, because there are some days where I just want to say,
Yes.
you know what? I'm done with this, but I get over it. You know, that's when I know that either I'm starting to get burned out, or something's going on with my hormones. Like, I'm becoming aware of, like, why do you want to quit all of a sudden, Stacie? What's going on? And it's usually my hormones, or I just need a break. I need to back away. But all in all, I love what I do, and I can imagine doing anything else. Like, I don't think I'll ever go back to a 9 to 5 ever again, because again,
And
like
the
I
thing is,
said,
you
I felt that there was something missing when I was doing my 9 to 5. I didn't know
have
what
the
it was.
flexibility.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know, and with this journey, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned about what's possible for me. I've learned that, the people that have massive success, like, they're no more smarter, no more, they don't have any special superpowers or anything like that. Like I used to put successful people on a pedestal
Yes.
stool and like think, oh, well, it's nice. Yeah, they can have it, but me, no,
Yeah.
no. We can make whatever life we want for ourselves. We can have whatever we
Yes.
want. And I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have cultivated that belief unless I went on this journey. I know I rambled a lot.
No, that was perfect, because people needed to hear that, because that's one of the things. Because a lot of people look at people, especially that are top of the rung, making, what do they call it, 10K months or whatever.
Mhm.
They look at people like that and they think, oh, well, I don't think I could ever get there, or I don't think I could do what she did or what he did or whatever. And they don't think about, and they don't see the back end of it. They don't see the times when they're tired and they don't feel like doing that. They don't want to do another damn Facebook or Instagram live.
Yeah.
They don't see all that, and they don't hear that you're a real person, and you just kept on going.
Right. I mean, that's all
You
that
just
it
had the
was.
persistence and
Yep.
the tenacity to keep on going.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's all that it
And
really was. And also another thing, Tammi, a thing that's really helped me was, the framework that I developed. And I know you learned that some of that framework when we around the time when we first connected, is because you want there to definitely be a system in place. Because here's the thing, like, we can't really just think about like what's happening right now. I know it's easy for us to think about the short-term money, short-term goals, but I can't help but to think
yes,
2, 3, 6 years from now, like, the version of me, this is what I always tell myself, the version of me who's already making 6, 7, multiple 7 figures, am I going to be tired all the time? I always tell myself, no. Why am I not going to be tired all the time? Because I'm going to have systems in place and people to help me to keep this company going and making it profitable, making it impact. So what are the things that I can do right now to start putting those things into place? Because a lot of people think, and I was one of these people, that I would think, okay, once I made X amount of dollars, then I will hire my first not employee. I don't have any employees. I have contracted people. So I hire my first VA. But it's like, we literally need to operate from the place as if we have already achieved the goal, in order for us to see beyond what's possible for us. I think that's one of the biggest things. And because of this, it makes it's like a battle going on in your mind. I tell you, it's a battle going on in your mind. So the people that we see that, are making multiple 6, 7, 8 figures or 10K months, they're no different than anybody else. They just haven't quit, and they've put systems in. And some of them, yeah, they are hustling their butts off, but guess what? That's going to come back and bite them in the ass eventually. The relationships are going to suffer for it. And
Yeah.
the reason why I know this is because I was in hustle mode, like hard, for about 1.5 years. And guess what? My relationship suffered. I wasn't taking care of myself like I used to. I used to, like, during that time when I was hustling, I'm the type of person, I love the outdoors. I move a lot. You know, I wasn't doing any of that. I was eating lollipops every single day. I had a big old economy size bag of dum-dums from Sam's. I had those in my drawer. I had those in my drawer, and I was eating those from the moment I was working till I got away from my desk, and it was really unhealthy. And I was like, I don't want to continue this way, because what if I end up getting sick again? What if I end up dying? Like, wait, why am I doing all of this? Right? Like, the reason I'm doing it is for the time freedom, and also the financial freedom, being able to do things like, you know, I want to donate to more charities. You know, I want to be able to open up, you know, a place for the homeless. I'm not going to be able to do any of that if, first of all, if I'm not taking care of myself first. I'm not going to be able to do any of that if I don't really believe in balance. There needs to be some type of harmony between, okay, you don't want your, you want your business to be able to be a living, well, I shouldn't say a living, but an entity on its own that can operate without you, no matter what you do. So for anybody that's new or who's been on the journey for a while, that's what I always want everybody to think about. Like, can your business survive without you for at least a week? How about 2 weeks? How about 3? You know, and if it's not, then that's when you need to realize you need to start putting systems in place or having people help you in it. And it can be within your budget, right? Sometimes we assume things are going to be so expensive and that we can't do it, and we're already like defeating ourselves and the thing that we're trying to build. It's like, start off with like what you can do, like what can you do right now, because things can always change as time goes on. And I know that's been helpful for me. My first VA, somebody to help me, even though I didn't feel ready for her, she worked 2 hours a month, right? 2 hours a month. And I think it was like $60. And back then that was a lot for me, but I did it because I knew, okay, I need someone to help me with this to make it grow, because we have a tendency to think we need to grow it first and then put the people in it. It doesn't work that way. Like, most of us think backwards, but it's, you got to start doing things that are really uncomfortable, and it can, I tell you, it can be hard. I think it's the mindset part that is the hardest part out of all of this, you know. And like I told you, Tammy, I am so candid about this because I never want anybody on the outside to think, oh, it's so easy for you, Stacie, or that it's not easy. It's not easy. However, it's easier to do this than do something that doesn't fulfill me.
Worth it.
Yep.
You know, CeCe Winans sings one of my favorite songs.
Mm-hmm.
She says, it wasn't easy, it was worth it. And that was just what I thought about when you said that. It wasn't easy, but it's worth it.
Yep. Absolutely. Just like, you know, the relationships that are near dear into our heart, they're not all sunshines and roses all the time. You know, it can be hard sometimes, right? But
sometimes you could choke your kid.
Yes, right. So it's the same thing. Like, the things that we really want, we can get them. Yes, it's going to take work, but anybody that you see that is successful, if they've done it, like, of course, with integrity and did not harm anybody else to get there, they did the work. They did the work, not just the action, but they did the inner work, because that's the biggest part, is like discovering like who you are, who you really are, and who you can become on this journey. Because a lot of us hold on to identities that weren't even ours to begin with. Like, I'm gonna give an example. Like, for example, my husband, like, thank God for his adopted parents, but like, his biological father would always tell him that he's stupid, he didn't amount to anything. So that's what he heard all the time, and he thought that that was his reality. So I know that was an extreme example, but the reason why I'm saying this is because like what we're told and what we see when we're children, I'd say from 0 to 7, maybe even longer, the things that we see, like it forms an identity of who we are, but it's not really who we are. These are stories, beliefs, observations that we think are us. And it's like, no, like, for example, like I'll put it to me personally, like my parents never told me this. However, I always felt that no matter what I did, it wasn't good enough, right? Even though they never told me that, it was just what I observed, their mannerisms. So growing up, I never thought I was good enough. Well, like carrying something like that with you while you're going on this journey will stop you in so many ways, because you're holding on to a belief that isn't even true to begin with, but it's a part of your identity. Time to let it go. Right? It's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. It's false. So I think like the biggest impact on me through this journey is just learning more about who I really am and what I'm capable of doing, because every single one of us has unlimited potential. Unlimited potential. Like that's hard to fathom sometimes, you know. We got unlimited potential.
Yes.
Like nobody can tell you what you can or cannot do. Nobody knows the answer to that, right? Only you do. So I'd say, like with this journey, just don't give up. Stay focused on the things that you really want, and make sure they're what you want, not what somebody else thinks that you should, or what you think you should want. Like, what do you want? Because I tell you, that's going to help direct you in the direction that you're going on this journey, because there's going to be a lot of unknowns. But if you stay focused on your vision for what you want, things will definitely come into play. I tell you, things will be delivered right on time. All right on time. So just stay focused on the things that you want. If you want to make a big impact in people's lives, do it. Anything's possible for you. And also, here's another thing. Do it messy. Messy.
So how would you suggest that somebody gets to the place where they understand and connect with what they want? Because
Ooh.
you know, the reason I asked that question is because a lot of people get out here and they say, oh, well, I'm good at doing, you know, administrative stuff, so I'm going to go be a VA. You know what I mean? But it might not be what they really want. It just might be what they feel like they can do. And it might be, say, it might be within their comfort zone, because maybe they were executive secretary somewhere, you know, and they say, oh, I'll just go and I'll start a VA business. But then as time goes on, they realize, you know, I don't think this is what I want. So how do you suggest that they find what it is that they want?
That I love this question. This is great. So I always like say, for example, like I know how to do laundry. I know how to do it well, but I am not gonna build a business around laundry. You know why? Because it's something I know how to do, and I'm good at doing laundry. No. You know that. But
right,
it does not fulfill me. So what I would suggest, I would say take a look at your childhood. You know how I shared earlier, like when I was younger, like this memory really didn't come back to me until like 3 years ago, that when I was little, I always loved lining up my stuffed animals and teaching them, right? Well, yeah, I could have gone to school to be a teacher, but that wouldn't happen, you know.
Or
yeah, exactly. I was going to say teachers, I salute them. I do, but they don't get paid. Like they work hard for the work that they, I'm not doing that. So I would say take a look at what comes natural to you and what fulfills you. Teaching fulfills me because I feel like I'm giving something of value that's useful to somebody. So I would say take a look at your childhood. Now, if you can't remember, because I know some people can't really remember their childhoods, so I would say like take a look at the things that what do you do on like when you have free time? Like what are some things that you do that you don't even think twice about, that really fulfill you, that like you don't even think twice about it doing it? Like I love to read too. Like I read all the time. So if you're like wondering, well, what can you do with reading all the time? Well, you know that there are people on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure you know this, Tammy, there are people on YouTube that have a business reading books. They have or maybe you want to write a book. Like think about the things
Yes.
that just come so easy to you. Like there's let me go back to the book reading. There's this guy, I forgot what his name is, Joseph Rodriguez, and he doesn't just read any books. It's books about like mindset and all of that, and that fascinates him. Well, he has a literal YouTube channel where he has a mind map of the notes of what he took away from the books that he's reading, and he shares it on YouTube, and he also shares the mind map. But for him to make, if you were like, if I'm sure some people are like, well, how do you make money doing that? Well, he has like courses that he created, info products that he created on mindset, like things that he's learned, things that have helped him, with self-improvement. And that's what he sells on the back end, right? So he makes money. He has a business around books that he reads, right? And I know some people would be like, what? Like, is that real? Yes, it is. Like, if you think about the things that you really love to do, there's definitely a way to make money from it, as long as it's something that the market would deem valuable. Heck yeah. So take a look at what you really like. And again, you want to look out for, I'm going to do this because you think you should do it, or because somebody told you that you were good at it. My husband thinks I'm great at creating websites and
Yes.
sales pages, like because I show them to him just to get another eye on it. He says you should, offer services for building websites. I was like, no, it's a great idea. I guess if I really needed money, I would do it. But I said it's an absolute last resort. I'd rather focus all my energy on something that fulfills me for real and that I'm good at. So start with your childhood. If you can't remember that far back, observe of the things that you like to do now that fulfill you, because I guarantee there's a way that you can monetize it. Every single time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
awesome.
that simple.
So now let's
That simple.
talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
You said something in there that I heard, because I work with energy. So you said focus your energy on what you want. So tell us how important you think that energy is in being an entrepreneur.
Oh my goodness. Love this question too. So, I mean, we're masses of energy, period. You break it down to the smallest thing, everything around us is energy. So there are some things that you naturally gravitate to, and there's some things that you don't. So you need to just be really aware of where your focus is. I guess if you don't want to think in energy, think about like where you focus most of your attention on, because that's another way to be energetically aligned. Like what feels good to you. Your body will tell you what feels good and what doesn't, right? And sometimes your body will tell you something that you like, but you'll get a feeling like the nerves, the jitters, but it's like excitement. Like it's different from like disgust, right? That. But like, for example, I'm an introvert. You already know that, Tammy. So if somebody says, Stacie, you should speak on stages with tens of thousands of people, I'm going to have a reaction to that. And it's not going to be a good reaction. And the reason why is because that's way out of my comfort zone. I do see myself doing that. That seems like amazing, right? But it's out of my comfort zone. Like I need to get myself to get there. So podcast, I can do all those things, but like that, like, yeah, I could actually see myself doing that and I would enjoy that. But right now I've got the fear going on because it's way out of my comfort zone compared to Stacie. you should, you should, I don't know. Let's see here. What is it that I do not like? You should sell life insurance. All right. I'm gonna have like a discuss, like, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Right. So there you
like that,
pay, yeah, right. So pay attention to how maybe the thoughts that go in your head and the way that your body reacts. But are we usually will gravitate towards the things that we like, because I mean, as humans, we always want to get away from the things that we don't like, even though we tend to focus on the things that on the negative. So I would say open yourself up to possibility, right? So if you focus your energy on the things that you want, why don't you ask yourself, what if I could make consistent income doing something different than what I'm doing now? Like, what would it be? And there was no barrier. There was no way to get this answer wrong. What would it be? It's like you sit down with yourself for a little while and just like really do some deep work, sit with yourself and think about, like, what is the thing that I really would want to do and what feels good. And that's where you're focusing all your energy and attention on that thing, right?
Well, what makes, yes. So how do you feel like the shadows help you? We're always trying to get in the darkness, like you said. We're always trying to go to the light, and the light is good.
Yeah. I would say embrace both, because if we're always about light and only focusing on the light, it's there's a gift in the darkness. They both play a role. Yes. Also, like when it comes to the things that are in the dark, I like to take a look at those things. I don't want to brush them under the rug. I don't want to ignore them. I don't want to put my head in the sand, because some people will do that. They're like, I'm not gonna focus on it. But it's like, do that, because there's something there that's going to teach you how you can, I guess, better navigate like what's true to you. So the things that you don't like, there's definitely something that you can learn from that you can take away from it. And like I said, I would say just embrace it both, because we can't, there's no balance without both. Like we operate in both of them all the time. I would say
there's no light without dark.
Right, exactly. So I would say just embrace them both. Like I have like some clients that aren't as woo as me, but I have some clients that really get hard on themselves about like maybe not achieving a goal as quickly as they want, or they're not getting the results that they want, or maybe they stop being consistent, or they just weren't as committed, and they start getting hard on themselves. And I'm like, look, none of that means anything. You're putting meaning on that yourself, right? You're putting meaning on yourself. So you need to see why. Like, why are you being so hard on yourself? Because there's something there. There's some darkness there that's making you default to shame, guilt, self-doubt, not feeling that you're worthy, even though you're worthy, period. There ain't nothing outside of you that's going to make you more worthy. You're worthy, period. So you got to take a look at the darkness, because if you do, that's going to help you excel when you are focusing on the light. Right. So both are going to teach you some things. But I always tell my clients, like, don't get so focused on the things that you don't do. Like, you can use them as a tool to help you get to that next level, to be able to step into that next version of yourself that you want to be. But, we, as human beings, we give meaning to everything. So we need to be mindful of like the things that we're giving meaning to, because I tell you, that can be one of the biggest traps on this journey, is like giving meaning to things that just really don't mean anything. Yes. I mean, a lot of things just really don't mean anything. Yes. Like, here's another example, like somebody comparing yourself to somebody else. Yes. That's a big one right there. Like, you see that person doing that over there. Well, guess what? That has nothing to do with you. And we got to remind ourselves of that. Like, you're on your own journey. Remember that whatever that person has, or maybe
Yes.
that you admire, that's available to you too. It's just that you're not going to get it the same way that they do. If you get that, because you might have there might be something better for you. You know, it's whatever
Yes.
you want it to
Yes.
be. Yeah. Yeah. When people compare themselves, and I even tell myself this, I'm just
Yes.
like, do you
Yes.
realize
So
that like where you're going to be, it could be like a whole elevated version than what that person's experiencing.
so I wanted to ask, what is one thing that one of your clients taught you? Something that, so a client you were working with, and something that they
Wow.
taught you, something maybe you were aware
Wow. That is a great one, Tammy. Oh my goodness. I think where it really became clear, one of my clients taught me like how good I was at pulling the brilliance out of them. Like, I never realized that I had that gift to pull brilliance out of people. Uh, because, you know, when I started my journey, I was just thinking about like the marketing and the strategic stuff. But I've heard this over and over, pulling the brilliance. That's why I say unleash your brilliance. Sometimes I'll say pull your brilliance, because my client taught me that I'm able to pull that out of people without even thinking about it. It's just having a conversation, just talking to them, listening to them. And I didn't realize I had this gift. I wouldn't have realized it until they told me. I'm like, what? What is that? So, and then I just really thought about it. I was like,
of.
you
Yes.
got a point there. Because, you know, when I look back, like when I reflect on my life, like when strangers would gravitate towards me and just start talking to me about all sorts of things. Like, I'm not asking them to give me this information. It's like they feel like they should tell me. And
Mm-hmm.
then, and I listen to
Talk to
them.
me on the forehead, right?
Yeah. So that started being something that I paid that's something that I started paying attention to, like with anybody that I work with. Is like I want to pull more of that out of them, because sometimes people just don't realize how powerful they are. Like,
Yes.
that's all I see is brilliance in people. Like, I can't help but to see that. You know, I'm not the type of person. I mean, yeah, I'm human, and yeah, I'm going to judge. I can't help it. I'm human. However, I always see the best out of people. I always like to see what's possible for someone when they don't see it. Um, I see past people's limitations. I see something that's possible for them that they just don't even see. And I'm just like, it's right there in front of you. Like, it's right there. So yeah, yeah, I'd say that's it right there, is someone telling me that I had a gift that I didn't realize I even had.
So how has that, how, when you found that out and you learned that, how did that change the way you looked at your sessions, your work? How did that make that change for you?
Oh, wow. Well, I would say that brought to the attention that I was able to uh actually help people transform their lives on a deeper level. I mean, not that any of the work that I do with anybody is shallow. It isn't, but there's always more layers. There's always ways to go deeper. And that's when I started changing my business model, because again, I used to be all about strategy. Like when you and I connected, I was more so about strategy than anything, and not really about energy, not really about your mindset, not really about you stepping into, I always call it your wealthy CEO identity. So it's helped me fine tune, like, how I share my message. It's helped me fine tune like how I want to work with people, because I don't want to work with people just on strategy alone, because I know it goes deeper than that. And I know for years, that's all that I really focused on. I was like, you know, if you want to work on your mindset, you need to go work with this person over there. You need to go work with that person, because I'm just a strategist. But then I realized that, you know what, I'm so fascinated.
I can refer you.
Yeah. I was like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. But the more that I started learning about myself, and the more that I started like just being more fascinated about, you know, how our mind works, the stories we tell ourselves, energy, I mean, the rabbit hole goes deep, and it fascinates me, just like who we are and who we can be. Like we are just like we're powerful, and
Yes.
yeah, we're just so powerful. And I want to help people remember that, because I was waking to the fact that I am powerful. I'm remembering who I am as a human being, and I think that would wake up a lot of people, to be addressed that. But not everybody.
Yes.
Here's the thing, not everybody hears that message. So I'm only speaking to the people that like get that, but they want to go deeper. They just don't want to make money. They want to cause change. Like money, a lot of people get into this for the money. Like I know I did. I wanted to just make enough money to pay the bills so we did not end up getting homeless or moving in with one of my parents, which I did not want to do. But there comes a point to where it needs to be bigger than that. I want to work with people that want to do deep work. So that's what's really changed over the years. Like after being made aware of that gift, I was like, wow, okay, it's time for me to change how I do things. And it was scary. I tell you it was, because I was so used to doing things a certain way, and I knew I was going to be making money a certain way. But then when you change stuff up, there's going to be a period of time when things are a little bit wonky and chaotic. And of course it's new. So I started, you know, doubting myself. I was starting to have a battle in my mind. Like, yes, you can do this. No, you can't do this. Yes, no.
Yeah.
It was awful. So I worked through that. And then finally and I didn't even have the confidence. It's just, I just started talking about it more. I just started changing the way that I shared things, and it just came out a little bit at a time, and it was consistent. And then before you know it, okay, I just don't, I like how I said with my intro, I help people become energetically aligned with how they share their message, how they sell, you know, how they show up so they can get their business there. But you've got, like, yes, I deal with marketing and sales. However, it goes so much deeper than that, because a lot of people aren't getting results with the marketing and sales because they're not working on the other stuff. So and I realized, okay, that's where I need to make,
because they're not energetically aligned.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So that's, I guess that's what makes,
that is so powerful.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't realize it. They're like, because our brain wants to just think logically all the time. Like it always defaults to that, the logical stuff. Forget all the other stuff, because that was me. I was like, I don't need to do the mindset stuff. Just give me the strategy. Let me do this thing and it'll work. It works for a while, but it stops working eventually. It stops working because there's some deep work that needs to be done.
Yes. And that's the thing, you know, once you get to that place where you realize that there's more than just strategy, you know, you have to be energetically aligned. Mm-hmm. And then where I'm at now is I started because your human design really goes deep into, you know, the soul of who you be.
Yep.
And really very begins, deep. You know, so you understand how to, you know, and how to get aligned, you know. And for me, like I found out I was a reflector, and that has changed everything for me.
Oh, wow.
Because it made me understand that, you know, yeah, I'm weird, but I'm 1% of the population, and so that changed a whole lot, because then I began to really understand myself and understand
Mhm.
how I do. And the reason why, maybe I can't, push and go hard, time to stop and actually not ignore, the way I was feeling and stuff like that. And I mean, and not to the point where, you just get to a place where you're just procrastinating. No, I'm talking about honest. They don't think about, you got to honor your energy. I can't do that every day.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so they'll put that kind of pressure on themselves, and then they'll be stressed the fuck out. So it's like, no, and so that is another piece, that for me, that I began to just integrate into my business and into my life and stuff like that. So we're gonna start wrapping up, but what is one that you want to share? Which you shared so many things, so many nuggets here, y'all. If you didn't get it, go back and watch again. But she shared so many nuggets, about, and that to me, if you don't take anything else away from today's talk, is not the other way around. So, what is something that you want to leave with the audience about entrepreneurship, your journey?
What I love your question, Sammy. Uh I guess the last thing that I want to leave is that there's going to be times when you're going to doubt yourself. There's going to be times when the people around you doubt what you're capable of. But what I want you to remember this. And if you got to write it down, you got to say it out loud, to say that I'm powerful, I have unlimited potential, and I can provide so much value in this world. So just keep going. Don't quit. If you can, which of course I know you can, is surround yourself around people who understand what you are going towards. Because here's the thing, a lot of people in your life will not understand your vision. So that's why you always hear, surround yourself around people who get it, who are going on a similar journey. Because I tell you, I mean, my husband, he supports me, but he just doesn't get it. Right. Um, my parents, oh, heck, my mom still to this day, even though she has no idea how much money I make, she thinks that I started a business because I was too lazy to work a regular job, which is just hilarious, because it's like I make more money than my parents combined. But the thing is that there are going to be people in your life that just won't understand your vision. So surround yourself around people who get ya, whether you do that virtually or in person. And it doesn't have to be a lot of people. It could be 3 people. Heck, one will make a difference than no one. Because I tell you, there will
Yeah.
be some times when you
Yes.
want to give up. I tell you, and it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It's just sometimes our minds will be the worst enemy on us. But it's just, you need to put safeguards in place to make sure you just continue going. Just continue going, because I guarantee you're going to get to where you're going, as long as you don't quit.
Yes. And I am so filled with gratitude and so grateful that Stacie has decided to join us here on Straight Out of Savannah, talking with Tammi. Her details are going to be in the description of the video and video. So wherever you listen to this or watch this, but share with the people how they can connect with you if they want to work with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tammi. Thank you. And again, it's been an honor to be on this show. And And, I absolutely adore you. So you can connect with me. Just go to just go to unleashyourambition.com, unleashyourambition.com. Go straight there. There's podcasts there. There, my social media links are on there, but there's a lot of information on there for you to go through. And of course, if you want to connect with me, you can fill out the contact form or join whatever available program I have if you're interested. But yeah, unleashyourambition.com.
That is amazing. And I'm super grateful and excited. This has been, oh my God, I have waited. I was so excited when she accepted my invitation. Couldn't wait for the date. And I was like, oh, personally, because I met her, I don't know, years and years ago now. And I did a few of her programs and they were awesome. And I can see the transition from where she was even then to now, because back then we weren't talking about the energy. She was mainly, and so I learned a lot about strategy. But at that point, I was at the place where I knew that I had to connect. I knew that I couldn't just do strategy because that's just not who I am. It's not who I be. And
Right.
so when she, yeah, it's like I can see the transition and it's amazing. And so many amazing things happen for her. Now, wait, before we go, I want you to share about this last opportunity that you have, because that was just like mind blowing.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, and this is funny. This is a funny story because like my podcast, Unleash Your Ambition podcast, like anybody that comes on, like my original plan was just to have a bunch of females, because my target audience is female. I'm not saying that I don't work with the fellas. I do. It's just easier. So, I announced the other day that the CEO of a publishing company, bestsellingbook.com, wanted me to coach his clients, and these are people that are paying $30,000 to $50,000 to get their best-selling book made. And this opportunity came out of nowhere. And I shouldn't really say nowhere, because here's how it happened. He had come to find out, he had been following me on social media. Like he even knew my dog's name by the time we had a conversation. Like this is somebody that like was really checking out my social media and stuff. But that this would have never happened. And this is what I'm saying. Like there's going to be opportunities that come to you all the time. Now you need to be aware that it's an opportunity, because his assistant reached out to me saying that she wanted him to be on my podcast. Well, I sat on it for days and days because I was like, I really don't want any guys on my podcast. I really don't, because I'm using the podcast as a way to generate clients, But then I was like, you know what? I guess it wouldn't hurt to hear from the guys, because it's not like the podcast is just. I was like, you know what? I'll be open to it. Like I almost said no, but I said yes, and I told him that he's the first male on my podcast, and we started.
Say that.
Huh?
And
About what? About him being the first male on my podcast? Oh, about.
No, I almost said no.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I almost said no. But here's the thing. Because I didn't immediately see it, I sat on it. And then I was like, you know what? Why not? I wonder where this will go. I was like, why not? Like I went outside the box that I put myself in about who was going to be on my show. I was willing to be adventurous. I was willing to experiment. And because I did not say no and I said yes, by the time we finished recording the episode, we were kind of chit-chatting back and forth. He was asking me like, how I work with people. I didn't think he was going to ask me what he asked me after I talked to him. Like I was just telling him about how I work with people. And he was like, well, what kind of programs do you have? I thought we were just chit-chatting, and he was like, well, I would like for you to work with my clients. I was like, okay, But inside I was like, I was just like, oh
Yeah.
my God. It's like, what? And see, I would have never been able to force this happening. Yeah, right. I would have, like, I didn't never knew this was coming. But think about this. This would have never happened if I would have said, no, I don't want him on my podcast. So that's another example right there. There's opportunities that come our way
Yes.
all the time. It's just either we're aware of them or we're not. So that's another thing. Like, be aware of the opportunities. Like, say yes, even when you want to say no, and see where it takes you. Because the worst thing that's going to happen, oh, you experience this thing and you don't want to do it again. But I would say be open to saying yes, because you will be surprised, you saying yes to things, how far that's going to get you. Because most of the time we say no to things. I don't want to do that.
Yes.
We
Well,
all
that's
do
not
it.
for me.
Yeah, we all do that, but then we don't even know what it's like because we haven't even experienced it. We're like
Let somebody else
assuming.
do it.
Yeah,
Amen.
we're like assuming what it's going to be like, but it's like, go ahead and try it, see what happens, because you never know what's going to happen. So I've been saying yes
Yeah.
a lot more
Yes.
this year because of that, because
Yeah.
opportunities are popping up, and I'm just like, it's because I'm saying yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you are on the glow up, girl. You're glowing.
I'm drinking a lot of water.
Sometimes you just have to say yes to opportunities.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you don't have time to overthink shit. Just say yes. Take a minute, just like you said, take a minute and then relook at it again and say, hey, well, maybe what would it be like if I did this?
Right.
Because you never know what kind of opportunities come your way. And then
Mm-hmm.
the other piece that I listened, I heard was that you don't know who's paying attention to you. You don't
Yeah,
know who's
that's a big
watching
one.
you.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
And something Spirit spoke to me earlier this year when I started my Awaken the Healer Within series. Now, this is something that Spirit dropped to me and said, I want you to do this. Now, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a design. I still don't. I come on every Monday and Wednesday and I give what the Spirit gives me, and that's what I do. And then I do a healing at the end. And
Mm-hmm.
something that Spirit said to me was, don't look at the numbers. Don't look at the numbers.
Right? Yep. Don't.
Because sometimes if you're on Facebook, Instagram, all these places, they'll tell you nobody's watching you, but there'll be people watching you.
Yep. Yep. The system's faulty in
And so
person.
and then I began to see the same thing. People would, yes. And
Mm-hmm.
so Spirit was like, don't look at the numbers.
Yep. You know what I have to say to that, Tammy, is like,
Just speak like you're speaking to the planet.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
So that was important. What you
Mm-hmm.
just said. You don't know who's watching you.
Yep. Yep. I've gotten to the
And that,
point to where I don't care if I don't even look at the numbers. Like, I'll just put my message out there. I'll just put it out there.
yes,
And don't
yes,
even do it because I want to get the numbers. Like that's like, okay, you're trying to manipulate things. Why don't you just show up authentically, share the message that you feel called to share, and leave it at that? Because you never know who's watching.
yes,
Because yeah, the algorithm can be totally faulty because it was created by humans. But also at the same time,
yes,
also one
yes,
person, you can change one person's
yes,
life, or that one person is going to reach out to you, because that's the way I look at it. Impact people one person at a time.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you,
exactly. And I truly believe that. I'm so
Tammy.
super excited. This has been off the chain. I'm just so grateful for our time together. This has been so good. And I know that people are going to get a lot out of it. So thank you so much for joining us.
Mhm.
Stacie already said where you could find her, Unleashing Your Ambition, right? .com?
Yes. Unleash your ambition. Just unleash yourambition.com.
Unleash,
Unleash.
unleashyourambition.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
you can find her there, and you can also find her on Facebook. Are you on? Yeah, you're on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm super excited that she's decided to show up and come on here and she brought the heat. So if take a minute, if you're watching the end of it, go back and watch the rest of it and take some notes because she is bringing word. She brought the word, y'all. So I'm so grateful because this has been on my radar for a while. And now was the time. So that's the other piece I wanted to make sure that you know that sometimes things are on your radar. Sometimes you want to do things or you're looking for something to happen, but when the time is right, everything is in divine timing, and so we have to, you know, look at that and we have to consider that. And then we have to look at ourselves and look at our energy and look at what we're putting out and what we're calling in. So again, thank y'all so much for joining me on Straight Out of Savannah Talking with Tammi with my guest, Stacie Walker. And she's just amazing with Unleash Your Ambition. And I'm just so thrilled and grateful that you've joined us. So wherever you are watching or listening to this, make sure that you hit the like and the share and the subscribe. And however you can make sure that you continue to follow Straight Out of Savannah Talking with Tammi. So bye now.